Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to show you how I edited this picture of the new Bentley Bentayga and made it into this. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, first I will start with cropping the image so the car is more centered in the frame. Then in the basic tab, I will start to fix the general exposure. I bring the exposure a little bit up. Also, I add a little bit of contrast. I pull down the highlights quite a bit, so we have some detail in the sky. I open up the shadows, so we have some more detail in the shadows as well. I bring up the whites. You can hold the Option key on your Mac to show whether your whites are blown out. I will bring down my blacks. Also with the Option key you can see whether the blacks are really black. Then the clarity and the haze I will bring down a little bit, so we got a more softened image. I will add some vibrance, but now the image is too saturated for me, so I lower down the saturation. The next step is the tone curve. Here I will add a slight S-curve to add some extra contrast. I also lift the blacks by lifting the lower part of the curve. When we scroll down, we see the HSL or color tab. Here we have three different parts: the hue, saturation and luminance. We start with the hue of the colors. I will pull down the yellows so they become more orangey. I also don't like the greens, so I will make them more yellow. The blues, I will make them more aqua, and I don't touch the purple and the magenta slider. For the saturation, I bump up the saturation for the reds. They're only visible in the taillights. For the rest of the colors, I mainly bring down the saturation. The aquas I pull down to 100, so there is no aqua visible anymore in the window. For the luminance sliders, I bring up the orange quite a bit. Bring up the yellows and the greens. I also bring up the aqua, so the window is a little bit brighter. I don't touch the purple or the magenta slider. Then we have a new tab in the latest version of Lightroom. It's called the color grading tab. I try to add some color contrast to the picture by adding some blues in the shadows and yellow in the highlights. Next we will sharpen the image a bit, but we will apply a mask so we don't sharpen anything but the lines we want to sharpen. We enable the chromatic aberration removal. and I like to add some subtle amount of vignetting. The next thing we'll try to do is to pop the car a little bit. Therefore we'll use some radial filters. The first radial filter will be covering the whole car. We invert the selection so our modifications will have only effect on the car itself. Here we will add some exposure, very subtle, and add some clarity to the car. The next radial filters I will add are the ones for the wheels. The wheels are very special from this Bentley, so I want them to pop out a little bit more. I draw a filter around the wheels, invert the selection and pull the feather all the way down. Then I will add some exposure and bring up the shadows. I then duplicate the selection and bring it also to the back wheel. To finish this picture, I will add some gradients to the skies. I will bring down the exposure quite a bit and add some dehaze to add a dramatic effect. I also add a gradient below the car. This one will be more subtle than the one in the sky. I think the general exposure of this image is a little bit too dark, so I will add some exposure in the basic tab. Now this image for me is ready to deliver. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and see you next time.